Aloha, aho mataki e yosun. So I've feel called to want to make this video and many more to share, but I just wanted to kind of address some of the unfoldings that have been going on within our global energy and things that have been going on around the world that in a lot of ways have created much shifting within this world and how we are living and how we are approaching this in our daily lives, and in many ways looking as to what is truly we are grateful for, what we have and what we can be thankful for, and all the blessings and abundance that we're in. So for what it is, I wanted to speak. We have stepped into the new earth in 2020 here, and it is, if you look at 2020, our 2020 vision, it's a way of basically seeing as expression of our two eyes, if you will, but really our eye itself is connected to spirit, to the other side of the veil, to the collective oneness of who we are, and it brings at this time, stepping into new earth, stepping into 2020 with the 2020 vision, we are actually bringing clarity of what has really been going on within our world over many thousands, tens of thousands, millions or billions of years within our whole universe in itself, and multi-galaxies and universes. But it is a time with that vision, within that clarity, that we are all coming to awakening. We're all coming to awaken to the power and the soul and the God within inside of us, and how we are connected together as one, within one soul family, within one chakra. Is a crown chakra, the corona chakra in itself. So as we've stepped into this new earth, we are coming to awaken within our dream time, our global dream time, as we stepped into 9-color dream time here and now. And within this, for what has been going on within the whole corona situation, if it were corona energy that has been spreading around this world, it's interesting. I've come to not reach out in so many filters and so many channels that have necessarily been open through my crown chakra, through the connection of one within all of creation, within one soul family, within the rainbow tribe, and just the collectiveness of one as to how we're all connected to the sacred tree that is behind me, or the plants and the animals, the birds, and every single sentient being, including, us as human beings with the embodiment of our human bodies here at this time. But in itself, for the situations, for the energies that is coming and unfolding within this world at this time. So, and this actually it's amazing how we listen and we share amongst each other, because each one of us is, receive many downloads through our spirit, through our eye in itself, and you come to receive these downloads and these informations depending on what is your filter, what is your channel, what story and way and energy you're telling yourself within your life and your journey, but I was actually sitting on the beach the other day, and just got done playing basketball with a brother, and we were having a conversation, and got into a spiritual conversation in itself, and he actually mentioned it about your corona in itself. Actually, I didn't put this link together till he mentioned it, but the corona as the crown, the corona chakra, and the swastika chakra, how we're all connected as one. So now that we've risen within this time, within this new earth, stepping into this new earth, and we've awakened within, this powerful spiritual beings and collectiveness of who we are in itself, I don't necessarily, what is the best word I want to use, because I don't like to use, I prefer to use other words other than fighting or attacking or things, because those in itself also send various vibrational frequencies in the stories that we're telling ourselves, as a collective, but also individually within your own reality and your own dream that you're creating, you're projecting out there into the universe, and putting it into your own Akashic records, the collective Akashic records, but in itself, as we've had this, all right, I'm going to say this once, the coronavirus, if you will, in itself, but that energy that we've been dealing with, and that is coming and spreading around the world, it actually is we've stepped into this new earth, into this new energy where we've risen, and every day, every moment, we are rising higher consciously and spiritually as we're awakening. And every day, the energies are recycled within God as generating, organizing, and destroying. So the energies of other lower frequencies, we're getting recycled into higher frequencies and higher consciousness, into higher light beings, that we are as we rise within our consciousness and our collective together. So as we've come to stepping into this new earth here in 2020, and the clarity and unfolding, creating this new paradigm shift, we're stepping out of these old ways and our older paradigms and older systems that truly do not serve us in itself, as we rise collectively, and we are to sit in together as oneness around this globe and as love within the love frequency that we are in itself. But yet, as we've come to risen within that point spiritually, and many of us have come to awaken through our eye, through our God's eye, and connected into the Swastika, into the crown chakra in itself, and to realizing that oneness and that connectedness that we have. So within that reflection, because it's all an internal and external balance from which we create within this world, because everything inside of us that we see outside in this world is created through the expression of our heart, through the expression of our DNA, in itself. But as a way of trying to, we've come to risen within that frequency of our collectiveness, frequency of our crown chakra, and these older ways, these older paradigms, these older systems, if you will, the systems of so-called domination and control in regards to our government, in regards to our banking system, social media even itself, even though I am at this, many of us are using social media, and my intention as part of this too is to put this into social media for all those that are connected out there, to shine my love and my light vibration into this, to allow those things to be purified within the love and light and the frequency that I carry as one, as within the collectiveness. But within that internal external balance, as this expression of so-called duality that we've lived in, for many, many millenniums and thousands, tens of thousands, millions, billions of years within that. But stepping into that new earth, into 2020, we are channeling as one. We are channeling as one through one eye, through your God's eye, is the balance between your mind and your heart. And we're seeing that we're all collective and we're all connected together as one within our crown chakra, within our Swastika chakra, the 1,000 lotus petals for which we are, and seeing our multidimensionalness and how we're connected to all sentient beings as one family in itself. So as we've come to step into that, the systems and the older ways, the older paradigms in itself, for many years they've tried to, keep us asleep, if you will, because it's a dream time awakening. You're realizing you're awakening to that you're dreaming within your life, but they, within these, trying to keep you in lower vibrations, trying to keep you down within these heavy densities that have been going on throughout the creation of our world in itself. We have come to awaken to that dream time, to that connectiveness. So now that these systems, these older paradigms and these older ways realize that they are losing control, or their attempt of control that they've had on the masses for so long, because we are so much more powerful when we come together as a collective, but in itself, they, for who they are, even, it's ancestral energies of our DNA, of the stories and the ways our DNA and our consciousness and the stories over the worlds of creation have tried to manipulate and control us in a way, and tried to keep us in a lower vibration, which is the main, one of the main vibrations that they try to keep us in, is that frequency of fear. Because when you come down and you lower down into that dimensional vibration of fear in itself, you are dropping down even further out of your heart space. You're dropping into a lower third dimensional reality, of a dimensional reality of third dimension, of fear, of anger, and all these ways and emotional expressions. So when we come within that, when you come into that space, it's like it's eating at your solar plexus, it's eating at your gut, and basically because you've dropped out of that pure vibration of your heart space in itself. So as one of their, and even though the the Ponzi scheme is up and all the last chess moves are over, but in itself that this is what has come to me is like their final attempt of trying to instill fear into the global masses, instill fear into everyone. And as this energy or so-called sickness, even though we are not sick, and I'll get into that later in itself, but as they come and externally, project that as an internal external projection, and its balance of life in itself, that this energy that is going on around the world right now, they've come to see that, hey, we're coming together as a collective, we're rising spiritually and purifying within these older ways and stepping into a whole new paradigm and a whole new earth. So it's like, oh, here we're all, and we've risen within the collectiveness of our crown chakra, the collectiveness of the lotus chakra, or the lotus petals, and as one within complete soul family circuitry in itself. So as we've come up there now, it's a way of trying to for what it is, trying to attack our crown chakra, trying in a way to once again separate us within the oneness that many of us have come to realize that we've come to awaken to over the past years in itself, depending on where you're at along your soul journey and how much internal work that you have done within allowing you to arise within your Kundalini serpent, or allowing you to arise within your soul frequencies, in itself. So as these ways and these governments and all the systems of the matrix are trying to necessarily put out an energetic projection or a vibration of control and of fear again, and you can see that, okay, now it's coming to this time, we realize that we've awakened, that we're all together, we're all as one, we're one family, and our purest vibration from which we come from is love. So then in itself, they are trying to say, oh, here and now you are coming to, you got to separate yourself, you got to come in isolation, that because they realize that, hey, we're coming together, as a family. We've been coming to heal our Mother Earth. We've been coming together more and more as tribes in itself, however you look in that definition of tribe, whatever, all it's one tribe in itself, but we are finding our tribe and who we vibrate with consciously and within our heart space to be able to go forth as a collective, as to we fully go into oneness, into one God consciousness, and return to all of us as Godheads, and realizing that the God that we are inside. But in itself, they have tried to isolate us and separate us once again. So in a way, they're trying to separate our crown chakra, trying to separate the thought that, hey, this and this and this is going on around this world, and bring that lower vibration back down, and trying to get you to lower out of that loving heart space and bring into vibrations of fear again, bring into vibrations of separation again. It's their last attempt, because they are truly, and they've been afraid of us for so long. That's why they've been trying to control and manipulate us through all of these systems, through our social medias, through these programmings of our food and our governments and banks and many different things in itself, as our external projections of life and what we've created externally within this world, and how we're truly treating the divine feminine, the loving energy of our Mother Earth from which we have come from, in itself. So as they are trying to create this vibration of fear and allowing us to, or wanting us to separate more and more and more, and keep us social distancing in itself, or this or that, so you can't actually look at people, you can't talk to people in itself. So you are sending out that vibration of fear. Is like, oh, you look at me and I can't look at you, because we're afraid of each other again. But in its true sense, we cannot be afraid of anyone. It's that lower vibration, whenever, for those that have come to awaken, to realize that we come from love out of the womb of our mother, And our heart, our soul spark, basically connecting into our heart space, the spark from which we have come from, that has been given by Father Sky, by Great Spirit, by God, however you necessarily look at it. I mean, it's all an energetic vibration. It shifts within itself when we come from Father Sky and we come from Mother Earth in itself. It's that balance of the two, so you become one within the middle. That's why they say be here now, within that present moment, because you are in that moment now of that past and the present, or past and the future in itself, but then you're also in that present moment, a pure aligned heart space. Within, you're connecting your God's eye to your heart space. You're connecting Father Spirit into Mother Earth in itself, and you're not swaying back and forth into these other frequencies and other stories and vibrations that have been woven and tried to be manipulated through our DNA over the many worlds of creation within this earth, the galaxy, and the universes, in itself. So when they are attempting to necessarily do this to us and trying to create this energy of separation in itself, I briefly made a video yesterday about within my external projection and what I saw of the systems in a way trying to come at me and create this energy of fear within myself, just the fact of being able to sit on this sacred land in itself. They are, it's like, here, now you must all go home, go into your homes. You can't come around other people in itself. And to me, I see there's many possibilities, but I see several different things within that I'm going to share, that in itself is we all step into this new earth and we all come into heaven, as it's said in many of the creation stories, or even the Bible, or depending on which, story or cultural belief that you have, Creator, God, Spirit, says that we're all going to have a home. I mean, we are on, Mother Earth itself as our home, in itself, because it's the bodies from which we are made of. But as we are all coming back within our home space, it's allowing us to come back into our home, or truly our home within our sacred being of who we are, allowing us to slow down our mind in itself to, come into that way of balance, to seeing, hey, I'm slowing down, hopefully my mind and that external projection and all that we've been doing so much externally is allowing us to come down and slow down and say, listen to the voice that is coming through from your higher self, from your connection to God, to Creator, as, the sacred child that you are of creation in itself. So as we've come to look at this, though, it basically, we've come to be in that vibration and trying to attack our oneness, our collectiveness within our crown chakra in itself. But yet it's also, we've come to as many times, where it's like, here, you've come to awaken within this vibration. We're coming within this loving space and healing and working with Mother Earth, and we've coming to externally create within that, and all these beautiful ways that we've been working with the land through our businesses, or just farming on the land, or awakening within our divine children and the star seeds that they are. And there's many ways in which we can look at our external projection, how we've been sending love and light out into this world, out into our journey, and in a way breaking through these lower densities, breaking through these lower vibrations as we rise within more love, within the expression of way we've been coming to love and care for our Mother Earth and care for other sentient beings in all way, within the human, the plants, the animals, and all sentient kind in itself. But as you've come and we've, many of us, and I'm not trying to put anyone in a specific category or put a generalization around everyone in itself, but I've even noticed myself this and that at times. But it's that balance is with everything, our still internal, external balance, as you being here within the present moment as one. But for what it is everything is all of creation, or that matrix, if you will, in itself. And then we have the matrix technology, all this technology of the internet and all these apps, in itself. I am here using a so-called device as a telephone, making a recording right now, and depending on which app or program I am going to put this on in itself, because it's all programs of our mind, of our DNA, and how we have been programmed within this world. But as all of us are, or many of us, and I'm not trying to use all in itself, even though we're all one in itself, but as many of us come to use this technology, or we're coming to express ourselves through the technology of the matrix, through the technology, the system, this web of all these systems within the ethers, the Ethernet in itself. And the ethers, if you look at the different elements in which the air, earth, fire, and water, but then you also have ether itself, with ether is spirit. And then you look at the Ethernet, basically the spirit net that is over us as our crown chakra, of those ways that systems and that net that has been trying to hold down Mother Earth for so long, and within its lower frequencies, within its lower densities, because it hasn't come to up until now, but in the past years, in the past ways, it was still in that lower densities of trying to hold us down within our spiritual beings. But as more and more of us are coming online to share our gifts, and coming online to share this and that, and shining our light into the darkness of the matrix, we are purifying even those naughty channels, those webs of life, to ascending our love and light vibration higher, into higher frequencies, into higher realms in itself. So as we've come to basically look at that in itself, so all of us are, or many of us are, using the internet and the technology now, and it's coming to that point of like, okay, here we've had these different businesses and this and that closed down in itself, and not be used as an external way of life, allowing you to see, okay, here, what is the necessary, the essentials of life in itself, what is important, what do I need as a minimalistic essential to survive within this human body, and within how we can live and come into minimalize our external use and our external projection within this world, in itself. But as we are all in a way of coming online in itself, as many of us are using more and more of this internet on an external projection, we are all coming online. We are all using the matrix and this technology and this web that's been created over our crown chakra, is part of the web of life, the web of creation in itself. But as we all start to come online, as with everything is inside, what is in is also without, the internal external projection. And since we came from spirit initially, spirit, no matter how you look at it, everything in this world is created externally, but spirit will always be ahead of the game. Because spirit creates everything, energy creates everything, that love vibration from which we come from creates everything, and it always will. I don't want to say necessarily, you could say dominated, because I've expressed about the systems of domination, control of these other ways of these systems that we've created in the older paradigms. But now we've stepped into this new paradigm, and we've come into this frequency and all going online as an external projection, that we are all spiritually going to awaken and go online. You're all going to awaken spiritually. It's a time of the global dream time awakening, where we're all fully at this time going to step back and see, oh, okay, this is what is essential within my life. I'm coming back to do more internal work within myself. I'm coming to heal myself physically, through my exercise, ways of staying healthy, ways of eating better, and going to play, out in the nature more, is to when you have that opportunity to go outside, bringing that balance, rather than going around and interacting so much within these cities in itself. But as we come to slow down, we get connected more into the light being, into the love expression. So when we go out, we are, hopefully many of us, but we are here in a way of externally projecting that vibration of love in itself. It's not necessarily a time to, be caught up in all the fears in itself. That's been a way of trying to lower our vibration again. But as we all start to come online spiritually and physically, like externally within the technology, if you will, we are coming online spiritually. We are coming online, awakening through our God's eye to the crown chakra. So even though they are trying to, many ways of these systems are trying to keep us down in this lower vibration in itself, we are all going online. We're all sending more love and light vibration into the matrix, into the technology that we're all using. So we're even breaking away and breaking down those ways of the technology in itself, so we can open up these portals and these doorways of love and light to come into a whole new systems, to a whole new paradigms of how we approach life in itself. Yeah, this is one of the first times I've actually written a couple notes for a video, so I was looking down. And normally it is just channeling through in a lot of ways, but I actually wrote down a couple specific things that I would like to speak about in itself. But yeah, so in itself, if you also look externally within the beginning of this energy and situation that's been going on, in a lot of ways it affects you respiratorily. It affects your breathing in itself, as to how it gets in there and then works within your body in itself. So I've several different things that have come to me within that. But if you look at your respiration, your sacred breath, that you will, your breath of life that was given through you, through Creator, through Father Sky in itself, because Father in itself is fire and air. Mother Earth is earth and water in itself. The earth from which our bodies are made, the water from which life have come from, the womb chakra from which we have come from, which we merged out of water of life. But Father Sky in itself is the air, is the wind in itself. But then you also look up at the sun that gives life, the creation of life in itself, which is the energy of this world from which we are made of. So that soul spark, but then that breath, because in order for you to wake up again, in itself, as we wake up every day and every moment, every breath in itself, you're going deeper into a higher vibration. You're going deeper into an awakening itself. But when you're given that breath again, you're giving that breath of life in itself, which you have been given. And that's, when us as human beings, or even as plants or animals, when you take that first breath, it's your breath of life. It's the gift allowing you to, hey, you're still here. You're still within this world, that this breathing of oxygen is something coming into our lungs, offering you the gift of life in itself. So by looking at it externally in a way, why it's come to affect our respiratory system in itself, because it's in a way of coming to potentially affect the breath of life that which would be given in itself. So, and that in itself, on another possibility, another channel or portal within that, as you look at that space, it is, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, that about sickness and how we are not sick in itself. Because if you look at the evolution of our sickness, or you just look at the evolution of our world and our species, we've had all these so-called diseases, or all these, prescription medications within itself, which don't truly actually do anything, because most of them are synthetically made, or they're made through a mix of synthetic ingredients as well as natural plants and herbs that come from Mother Earth in itself. So, but as you look at that, taking these medicines, these prescription pills in itself, you're allowing someone else to try to diagnose you. You're allowing someone else to tell you that you're sick. You're allowing someone else to put that thought construct into your head, into your conscious, into your vibration, saying, oh, I'm looking externally out to this, that, oh, you know what? That's what that said. They must be a professional because they went to school and they have a PhD as being a doctor. I mean, this is not against any of the people that are out there that are truly helping externally to help care for us as our physical beings. I send you so much love for doing that, and I thank you for that. But then in itself, the truest guide, the truth. Each one of us holds our own truth within. It's your own voice, and you're connecting to your higher soul, to the higher spirit, the God consciousness of the creator in itself. So each one of us has our own truth, our own ability to discern what is right within my life, what is right within my path and my vibration in itself. So by you coming more and more within that space and coming more within that sacredness, you're quieting the mind, but then you're taking away that quiet in the mind. You're taking away all these other channels in itself that have been open, all these other stories and ways of people, they're telling that, oh, you had this sickness, you had this disease, this, and this. And it's true sense, if you really look at it energetically, spiritually, and for the countless books that have been written upon this, and even aspects of science where science has evolved to its point at it for what it is, has evolved to its external point, is basically, or its external projection, if you will. It is basically, if you look at it, we are our own healers. We are our own light. As you connect into the own light and the love and the truth within you, that you heal yourself. You are the one that empowers yourself and tells yourself that you're not sick, because everything in this world is a creation of a thought construct, a creation of our DNA, a story that has been woven within the history of our DNA. So in its truest self, you can shift, you can manipulate your own DNA, you can change your DNA, and you can awaken and channel through your Reiki energy, your channel through the divine spiritual energy to shift that thought out of your head, to basically remove that from your thought construct and empower yourself and heal your own self. Because in its truest sense, we cannot heal other people. We can offer our advice, we can do so many things within these ways to help others open up a new perspective or something that hasn't been seen or aware by that person till you have an interaction, or till you sit and even download, get a message from your higher self through creation, in itself. But none of us ever can truly be sick. We don't have diseases in itself, especially coming into this new earth in 2020, as we've shifted out of an older paradigm into a higher vibration of the highest vibration we've ever been, is the purity of love from which we have come from. When you tap into that heart space and you channel through as your divine created spirit that you are, and you compass yourself with the golden white light that you are connected as the galactic central sun, as connected to Elohim, to great spirit in itself, you are healing yourself. So by telling yourself, that you are sick, or by you or those out there for what's going on trying to bring you down into a lower vibration of fear right now, when you come into those lower vibrations, you come out of that heart space, you're not fully connected to the divine channel that's within you. So by getting caught up in those lower frequencies and those other ways and stories which we tell ourselves, that in itself, as you come down in that lower vibration, that lower frequency, you're getting caught up in all those stories, and you're telling yourself you're sick. You're looking externally out into this world for the answers. You're not looking internally for your truth that's inside of you, for the Satchnavas that's inside of you. Because when you come to heal within this sacred space that is within your vessel, you heal yourself. You understand the truth that's within you. You channel your divine light, and you heal your own consciousness, your own light body for which you are. We're all light, we are all energy, and we're all vibrations of pure love within the divine star seeds that we are, in itself. So in its truest sense, and I know there's many other human beings and sentient energies around this world that would agree with me, depending on where you're at in your expression and your story, but you cannot be sick. I mean, it has, as we've looked at it as the evolution of our consciousness and the evolution of this earth, galaxy, and universe in itself, like at times we've had these things go on throughout our history that in a way we've told ourselves that, oh, this or that has created this sickness, this or that has created this, and these ways and diseases within it. But that the disease is the mind in itself, but it's also a beautiful thing. The mind is such a beautiful thing in itself, depending on which vibration, which side of energy that you go within. If you're going into a lower vibration or a higher vibration, a light or a dark, within the duality that we used to live in, but stepping into the new earth now. We're all one. We're all collectiveness. We are awakening to the divine gods and goddesses that we are, depending on the physical skin suit that you have and how you've been born into this world as an expression of Father Sky as a male or Mother Earth as a female in itself. But though when you're in that divine balance, you realize that you have both within you, both the divine feminine and the divine masculine in itself. So you are both equally man and woman, because you are Father Sky, you are Mother Earth in itself. You are both in itself. It says we have come in within this, like you and I know within me, for all that that I've been around and people that I've been around. I've been going outside, and as you can see, I'm outside right now. I've been getting outside and I've been playing and been getting in the water, because the water, especially the ocean, will heal you. And it's especially with the ions, and the salt in itself will purify your body, will cleanse your consciousness, will cleanse your crown chakra in itself. It'll allow you to cleanse that and awaken into a higher vibration again. So that's why in itself, externally, as the system's realizing that they're losing their grips on their older reality, is the older earth in itself that we've stepped out of. They're trying to keep you isolated in your home, trying to keep you isolated within the same circle and the same vibration as you sit there and watch like a sheep or a robot to all the television and the news and all this that's trying to tell you the same story and the same history that we've all heard before. It's an illusion. I mean, well, many things are an illusion, but as you watch the news in itself for what it is, it's all news regurgitating systems in itself. But basically all the news anchors and all these people that have not come to fully awaken to the full understanding of our DNA history, and I'm not putting that in a whole lump and a whole category of everyone, because there are out there that are part of, because each one of us is part of the system, depending on what job or where you're at. There's a reason, as we're in these positions within these roles externally, and what job and what we are doing within that, because you are your divine light worker as well. So you're coming to shine your light and your love in the best way that you know, the best way that you've been able to be awakened within this journey. And as you're here and you're continuously spreading your truth of what you've come to know in itself, but if you look at our history, we need to take apart our DNA and take apart the history and the stories that we've told ourselves over so long, which in those programmings that we've been woven within our DNA. So that's why we're stepping out of those older programs, those old earth, those old paradigms, and we're stepping into new stories. We're creating a new earth, we're creating a new paradigm and new stories and new awakening within our DNA, within our light body, within our heart frequencies around this world in itself. So for all that is going on externally in itself, the truest thing is come together, send that love and light vibration, and I don't know how many of you all are aware, but this morning and tomorrow, even throughout these past 2 days, but it should be expression of every day, but there's been a global mass meditation it started this morning on the April 4th and April 5th in itself. So, and if you look at that as, by coming in that global mass meditation, even though they're trying to separate us individually, within us and within our homes and individually in these smaller little niches, if you will, but we are coming together as a collective. We're sending that love vibration out into the earth. We're sending that love vibration to heal and connect into the frequency of Mother Earth, connecting into the frequency of who we are as a pure divine love and light beings that we are in itself. But as you also look, because Mother Earth is the 12th dimensional light being, and if you look at the evolution of whatever space and time is in itself, our year is 12 months, and each month is also another dimensional portal, dimensional frequency as we rise within the new earth. So we are currently we've just entered into April, and that would be as a dimensional frequency, that would be the heart chakra. That would be the pure loving vibration for who we are. So coming into 4-4, basically that 4-4-4, technically, if you look at 2020, so 4-4-4 in itself, we're coming into that vibration of pure love. And that's what this day is, out of, every day in a moment should be pure love within what we express. But as we are evolved within our evolution of who we are within our consciousness at this time, this is why we've come together within this collective, especially on this day, because it is a pure loving heart vibration that we're sending out as a collectiveness. We're stepping back into our heart space, or just stepping further into our heart space and rising out of that lower third dimensional energy of fear. We're coming to collectively of millions upon millions of us around this world, and maybe even billions, hopefully all more than 7 billion human beings and all sentient beings within the plants and the animals, because as we send that love vibration, you're connecting into the love vibration of all animals and all plants. They're feeling that love vibration as well. So as they feel that, they're coming to be healed as well, and they're sending that resonant vibration back out as pure love. So as we come within this space and we're sending this love vibration into the Aina, into Pachamama, into Mother Earth, into Gaia, when you look at it, we are sending that love vibration of pure love back into this as a collective, no matter where we're at in space around this world, or space and time, for the whole timelines that we've created and separations of time and frequencies, if you will. That's a whole nother talk. But in itself, no matter where we're at, from what I was, the people that have sent me and how I came to find out about this global mass meditation of love in itself, it was basically starting at 6:11, this morning, universal time, because we all live on the same timeline, the same frequency in itself, even though we have division of these times in these 24 hours as we look around our world in itself, but it is truly oneness. We all live on one space and one time as we are coming to awaken to the oneness of who we are in itself. So if we're in 4-4, within that 4-4-4, 4-4-2020 in itself, we are coming into the purity of that love vibration. But then on the fifth in itself, the fifth dimensional frequency, because your fifth dimensional frequency is, my understanding is Mother Earth, is the Aina around you. It's the purest, highest vibrations aside from the love frequency from which we have come from. But being amongst nature, being amongst that fifth dimensional energy is very, very healing. It cleanses your energy, it cleanses your aura and your light body in itself. So by coming from within that heart space, but then you also come into the fifth dimensional expression of our truth, our fifth chakra, the seat of our soul, which we come to express ourselves externally out into this world. And say, as we come in, millions and millions or billions of us sitting around this world and coming from that pure loving heart space of healing and sending love out into this world, from an internal expression, we are sending that love vibration out into this world to just send more love and more love and more love and more love out to this world. To basically, as we do that, we are sending love into this world to stop, if you will, or to basically rise the higher vibration of this corona crown thing that's going on around the world, because many are still trying to keep us in a lower vibration of the third dimensional frequency, in itself. So as we rise within that heart space, within the 4th day of April, we are rising into that love space. And then on the 5th day, we've come to sit in this world as all of our sentient beings together as one collective, as one full soul family, and we are rising within that. We come to see, hey, this is our true expression of who we are. This is a true expression as one, as within the seat of the soul of who we are, that, hey, we are all sitting around this world, and no matter where we're at within space and time in itself, we are still connected, because we're dropping into that heart space of love, realizing that, hey, I can sit here and I can connect to someone within my God's eye and my divine Father Sky and divine Mother Earth in itself, divine feminine, divine masculine, that I can send love vibration to the whole way across this world. You know, I can send love to all, you know, realms within this earth, into all galaxies, into all universes in itself. We can raise and radiate within our vibration of love. So we come to realize that, hey, we're all connected within that heart space. We're coming even more into the expression of the truth of our soul, expression of our oneness, as more and more people are coming to express and realize, hey, this is and this and this is what's truly essential in my life, or what's essential in all of our lives. So we're coming to empower ourselves, empower our voices as ways of externally projecting our love and our light out into this world. You know, so for all those that aware or unaware of all that is, you know, been going on with the global mass meditation, or many things in itself, like, it's, you know, especially now of all times, it's the time to be in a heart space. It's time to be in a vibration of love and supporting for all beings in all ways, no matter where they're at. And we're all at many different levels, depending on where we're at within our being incarnated as a specific soul being, and depending on where you're at as your soul's path, or where you're at on the tree of life, as we rise together as one, as collectiveness, and what vibration we are carrying at, you know. So so as well, yeah, just for all those that are out there, if you have a drum today, or even tomorrow, just any day, you know, which I truly call in and desire a drum again. I gave the 2 drums I had, I gave them away last year, and knowing that hand drum, or that drum, is the heartbeat of our Earth Mother. It beats to the heart of our earth. It beats to the heart of each one of us as our individual sentient beings, as to who we are within human, plants, animals, all connected, all as one, you know. But if you have a drum, play your drums. Allow Mother Earth to heal you. Connect into that vibration, the heartbeat of our Earth Mother, and shine your light, shine your love out into this world. So, all right, well, I'm going to go into a meditation now. I love you all very, very much, and I have many more things that I would like to share. So they will be coming very soon. Aho matake yasin. Warnatakameyo.